Ladies and gentlemen, Hillary Clinton's snakes in the backyard metaphor has come full circle as Islamabad once again witnessed one of the deadliest attacks in the restive region after a suicide bomber rammed an explosive-laden vehicle into a Pakistani military convoy in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's North Waziristan district. This attack has led to the death of 13 soldiers, injuring several others, including civilians. As per reports, around 800 kilograms of explosives were used in the bombing that caused massive damage to several nearby houses. Now, Pakistani military media wing, the Inter-Services Public Relation or the ISPR, has blamed New Delhi for the attack, but it has not provided any evidence. Pakistan's military media wing has claimed that 13 Pakistan Army soldiers were martyred after an explosive-laden vehicle of the Indian-sponsored terrorists rammed into security forces' vehicle. These are their wordings. This is what they're blaming India for. Now, instead of combating and delegitimizing terror groups, the world's terror exporter Pakistan has developed a habit of blaming India for everything that they face. However, the Ministry of External Affairs has vehemently rejected Pakistan's allegations that New Delhi was involved in this bombing in North Waziristan. In a strongly worded statement, the MEA has said that India has declined Pakistan's statement that New Delhi was involved in this deadly incident. It also called the allegation baseless, saying they deserve nothing but contempt. Let me introduce my guests on the show, Mr. Arya Singh. He's an author joining us. Major Gaurav, Arya, Editor-in-Chief, Chanakya Forum, also joins us. Good evening and namaskar to you, gentlemen. Major Arya, can I begin with you and ask you how it's always so convenient for Pakistan to blame India for any trouble that they're going through within their territory? And Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is one such region where they keep blaming New Delhi when they can't handle their own mistakes and their own challenges.
Thank you for inviting me to your show, Shreya. This is not just about a terror attack that happens in Pakistan. You mentioned Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. This is not just about this terror attack. Pakistan blames India because PSL is not doing well. They blame India because their economy is not doing well. They blame India because they're diplomatically isolated across the world. So you need to have an enemy, and in psychology, we call this externalization of threat. So this is exactly what Pakistan is doing, and they hope, like Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's minister of propaganda, who very famously said that if you repeat a lie 100 times, people will believe it to be the truth. And this is exactly what Pakistan is doing, especially after Operation Sindoor. Whenever something happens in Pakistan, you will see down the line, and I'm talking about the future here, not about this attack, they will just blindly have press conferences and start blaming India because they feel that this is the way you can put pressure on India diplomatically. Having said that, the group responsible for this, is I'm not even going to talk about Hafiz Gul Bahadur because all said and done, this is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So let's stick to the the point in question here. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan very proudly writes Pakistan in its name. And the group that carried out the attack was not Tehreek-e-Taliban India or Tehreek-e-Taliban Bharat or Tehreek-e-Taliban Hindustan. It is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. They're proud Pakistanis. And the reason why they are killing all these army people is that they say that there should be Sharia in Pakistan, right? And the Pakistani state is not a Sharia compliant or an Islamic state. And that is the fight of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Apart from land, this is one of the main issues on which they are fighting the Pakistani state. So these are, like you very rightly mentioned in your introduction, these are snakes in the backyard. They have been created over a period of time by the ISI, and the snakes are biting them. But Pakistan will say what Pakistan has to say.
Well, Pakistan has been saying what it wants to say. Clearly, nobody is believing them. Arya Singh, the fact that... all right, we'll try and connect. I'm told that his audio issue is being fixed at the moment, Mr. Arya Singh. But, Major Arya, you mentioned TTP and how this has been an ongoing issue there. There's also a challenge that Pakistan faces with regards to Afghanistan, and that is something that they have been going through within that particular region, at its border areas, and they keep blaming India for it. But the fact of the matter is that the real problem lies with Afghanistan, and perhaps the country also realizes that Pakistan is the problem and that they have been tampering with Afghanistan's internal issues.
This goes back to 1979. And Pakistan and Afghanistan at one point in time shared a cordial relationship, both being Muslim countries. But that changed after the first Afghan jihad between 79 and 89, and responsible for the bloodshed that happens inside Afghanistan. I can go on and tell you about their strategic depth theories and what they tried to do in Afghanistan. It is not just the Afghan rulers that dislike Pakistan. The Afghan street dislikes Pakistanis. It's unsafe. If you're a Pakistani, it's unsafe for you in Afghanistan. They don't like Pakistanis, and they make no bones about it. Also, apart from what is happening along the Durand line and the fact that it's been contested and the Afghans don't agree with the Durand line, and Mortimer Durand just drew a line on a piece of paper and said, from tomorrow, this will be the border, and Afghanistan to that side and India to this side and all of that. Apart from that, the main issue is that whether it is the king or the erstwhile king of Afghanistan, Najibullah, the communist ruler who was hung by the Taliban when they stormed into power, whether it was Ahmad Karzai or even now the Taliban leadership, no Afghan, whatever his political persuasion, has agreed to the Durand line.
Yeah.
They do not agree to it, and that is where this entire conflict starts.
Okay, we've got Mr. Arya Singh back on the broadcast with us. Mr. Singh, what's your take on this entire blame game that Pakistan resorts to every time they have an internal problem? Yes, they have a problem with Afghanistan, but the fact of the matter is that what choice do we have for somebody who's always blamed for Pakistan's internal problems when they can't deal with their own?
I think the core problem with Pakistan is, the perspective and prescription that, some Pakistanis like Asim Munir has about, Pakistan being a civilizational entity. And I don't know, in that, his civilizational perspective and prescription, where does Afghanistan fit in? Or where does Balochistan fit in? They refuse to, buy that template that Pakistan has been, talking about right from its inception. So that is the problem. And what happened? What happened to Pakistan's strategic depth? As rightly brought out, Durand line continues to be contested because in the first place, 1893, why was the Durand line put in place by the British? It was to divide the Pashtuns. So those things, that that kind of problem will persist all through. And the problem here is that Afghanis, if I may tell you, that Afghanistan till I think as late as 1949 had not recognized Pakistan.
Okay.
So you try to play a big boss there, nobody is going to buy it. And why is Taliban Pakistan, it has taken up enmity with Pakistan, the state of, particularly the military of Pakistan, because they feel that they were betrayed in the name of Islam. And today Pakistan is paying the price for being the champion of the Islamic world. And this is what has happened with Iran also. In the closed door meeting, he was told that please lower down your tenor as far as this Islamic rhetoric is concerned, because that will affect our operations in Iran. And Munir quietly he came down several notches down the ladder. And today you have a subdued Asim Munir who is talking about that we are net security providers in the region. He's talking of peace and tranquility.
But
this is
Mr.
what
Arya
beating
Singh,
from India has
to
done
Major Arya.
to Pakistan.
Major Arya, I've always had this question in mind that when you've got other Islamic countries condemning Pakistan for what it is it that it makes a country like Pakistan, which doesn't even have the money to actually survive, to exist, have that sort of existence and that support why are countries like, say, for example, United States of America have always extended that support to Pakistan?
Shreya, it is not that Pakistan is penniless. The issue is that Pakistan is also characterless. I recently made this comment that Pakistan cannot be bought, but it can be rented. The Muslim countries don't like Pakistan because Pakistan uses Islam like an ATM card. You put Islam inside and take out money. They have betrayed Iran very recently. Forget about Afghanistan. Afghanistan is an older case. They betrayed Iran. Asim Munir went and had lunch with Donald Trump. And within 24 hours, the United States of America attacks Iran, the three nuclear reactors. So if you look at the entire Arab world, Pakistanis are not respected anywhere. A, they're begging for money always. B, Saudi Arabia has spoken to the Pakistanis in private so many times and told them that get rid of this Kashmir obsession. It's not good for the region. It's not good for us. And get rid of the stuff that you're doing. You see, there was a time when Saudi Arabia was funding madrasas. It stopped all of that. It says, we are not interested in funding madrasas anywhere in the world. You do your stuff, we do our stuff. So Pakistan, that way, the importance of Pakistan is not simply geostrategic. It is a nuisance. Pakistan is a nuisance. So to be used by superpowers and emerging superpowers like China, like the United States of America, America is economic and military superpower. So America will use Pakistan whenever it wants something done in Afghanistan or in Iran. Pakistan is the useful idiot which wants to get paid for it. Similarly, China. If China does not accept the fact that Apple is moving out its manufacturing from China into India, or they think that India is rising too fast, go ahead and do something in India. And Pakistan is happy to do it for a few dollars. I just want to tell people here, and you see, Americans bombed Iran after they had, both these gentlemen had dinner in the White House. And suddenly the Asian Development Bank announces $350 million aid for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Out of thin air, 350 million. So Pakistan has been paid for this betrayal of Iran. So that is how Pakistan works.
And well, what's interesting is that Pakistan continues to survive in this way with this approach. And that's perhaps rather appalling as well, considering the fact that we have been calling for a stable, safe, peaceful Indo-Pacific region. And clearly Pakistan doesn't have any contribution to it. But Mr. Arya Singh, how do you then, see this moving forward? The fact that, Major Arya also mentioned China. There has been a growing deeper Pakistan-China nexus as well that is playing out. You've got Chinese investments in these particular regions, whether it's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or Balochistan. How do you then see this moving forward?
No, I'm sorry to say this will continue, because when he says that we are net security provider, it implies that, he means that Pakistan is some kind of a balancer between China, earlier with between USA and Soviet Union. And it did prove itself in 79 when the Soviets invaded and when this jihadi machine was put. And now it is between the US and China. And well, I don't know, Asim Munir, I don't know if people have been following this. There are a lot of talks, regarding minerals, and I have been following it very carefully. In the April, madam, there were 3 delegations, including a Congress delegation, concerning minerals, and they all met this fellow Asim Munir. And well, then what happens to China-Pakistan economic corridor? And in USA, just before he had his lunch, he made a statement. He gave a talk somewhere where he said कि ये यूक्रेन वाले क्यों ये $1 million उसके पीछे भाग रहे हैं, हमारे पास $1 trillion के minerals हैं. So sometimes what happens is that when you do too much of balancing act, it becomes counterproductive. So could be that Pakistan has reached that stage, and you must go through the speech that Munir gave in his Naval Academy. He says that, he almost says that next time India does it, our response will be swift and, swift and hard, or whatever it is. That means the last time the response was, sluggish and inappropriate. He said it will be swift and, appropriate. So that means I mean, he is considered, that he has been hit very hard.
Okay.
And this is what, thrashing can do. When a die-hard jihadi in chief also talks, starts talking about peace. So from time to time, I suppose this, thrashing should continue.
Last question to you, Major
That is
Arya.
how we can secure, be able to secure our country.
Okay. Last question, Major Arya. Of course, a peaceful neighborhood will be in the interest of India for its own economic stability and regional stability. And therefore, what are our options when you've got a neighbor like Pakistan that keeps blaming you for its own internal challenges, for its own snakes, own Frankenstein's monsters that it has created? What are our options? How do we then move forward?
See, there are two things. First of all, this net security provider thing. Actually, Rajnath Singh ji was the first one. I think it was in November 2022 in Agra, where during a summit, he said that India is the net security provider in the Indo-Pacific, and Pakistanis have stolen his line. That's one thing. Secondly, like Colonel RSN Singh, sir, very rightly said, and I think, we need to keep on. Ours is a reactive country. We are reactive people by nature. So, Uri happens and then the surgical strikes happen, and Pulwama happens and then Balakot happens, or Pahalgam happens and then Operation Sindoor happens. We are always reacting to what Pakistan is doing. I think the time now is ripe for initiating conflict with Pakistan because, and I say this with a great deal of responsibility, Shreya, conflict with Pakistan, asymmetric, kinetic, non-kinetic, it will happen whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, we are or will be in a situation of constant struggle and conflict with the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. It is high time that we took the initiative and initiated something with Pakistan rather than waiting for Pakistan. If anybody thinks that after Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is going to stop terror in India, they're sadly mistaken. It's going to happen again. Yeah,
it's going to happen again, and we'll have to be as you said, we'll have to be on our heels. We'll have to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But I'll leave it there. Major Gaurav, Arya, as well as Colonel Singh, thanks very much to both of you gentlemen for joining us this evening and sharing your perspective. Viewers, this, of course, remains a perennial problem within Pakistan and for us here in India because we've got a neighbor like Pakistan.